Today we're going to paint the Wurmspat Underworlds team. So, about a year or so ago, I bought a bunch of Underworld teams before they all went out of print, and this is one of them. Now, I've been kind of putting off doing a whole lot of these for a while now, and I thought it'd be time to get back into them. And I gotta say, I really like the sculpts on these. The bases and the models just really have a whole lot of detail to them. So, taking a look at this, it looks like we're going to need some greens, maybe some pale flesh. I'm going to be honest, I'm not super great at making pale flesh, so we're going to do the best we can. These are Plague Marines, so we're definitely going to want to make them kind of sickly. I said Plague Marines, didn't I? They are Servants of Nurgle, and so here's one of them. I have base coated in black and then done my couple of dry brushes, and I gotta say, I love the look of these models. They just look nasty and sickly and just so much detail. So we're going to start things off on the base with some Agros Dunes. This is going to go over all of the sand or sandy sections of the base. There's a whole lot of details here that I kind of want to preserve, so I'm being a little cautious with it. Now for all of the armor plating, we're going to go with some Plague Bearer's Flesh. We're going to do a wash over this later, but I wanted that kind of like sickly yellowy green kind of appearance for the armor. It just really strikes me as this is Nurgle colors, so I really wanted to kind of showcase and highlight that. There's very little wood on this model, but he does have this spear shaft, so we're going to do that in some wildwood. And I'm trying to go as light as possible just to kind of make sure that the highlights and shadows kind of show through. Now I'm using some Dark Oath Flesh. I'm trying to go as light as possible to kind of make it look pale. Guilliman Flesh would have been a little bit lighter coloration, but I have a tendency to overuse that, so I decided to use some Dark Oath Flesh for this one. Alright, so now we're going to use some Basilicanum Grey. There's a few little bits of chainmail hanging down from his front tunic. We're going to paint that as well as the kind of reinforcement for the spear shaft. And then all of these stones on the base are going to get coated in the Basilicanum Grey, and then later we'll do some Agros Dunes over them to kind of give them a more earthy, stone-like appearance. Alright, so now we're going to do a light coating of Flesh Terror's Red. This is going to go on all of the kind of fabric sections that are hanging off the armor. There aren't too many of these, and it'll give a nice little extra color contrast compared to all of the kind of muted yellows and greens. Now, on camera, I'm only doing one coat of this, but we're going to do two coats of the Drakenhof Nightshade over the top knot hair. One now, and then one off camera once it fully dries. Now I'm going to use some Artist Loft Silver. This is going to go over the blade of the spear, as well as the kind of heavy belt that he's got around his waist. This will provide a really nice kind of a shimmer effect when we go over it with a contrast in a little bit. Alright, so now I'm using some Warp Lightning on all of these little kind of like plague fleshy things that are on the base. Now, you can absolutely do it this way. I eventually decided that I did not like this appearance, and off camera, I did end up eventually changing them. I painted over them with a warm gray, and then redid them with Guilliman Flesh, and then did Plague Bearer Flesh over the top of that. Now there's a few skulls and kind of bony things that are on the model. I'm just going to go over all of those with the skeleton horde. And then he's got these kind of little bony protrusions coming out of his shoulder pad. We're going to go over those as well. Now we're going to use some snakebite leather. There's some leather wrappings around his waist and on the skulls that he's carrying. We're just going to use this to kind of give a leathery rope-like appearance to them. Alright, so this was me in the original edit of this, trying to make the green blobs look kind of like fleshy green blobs, and it definitely did not work. I'm definitely happier having redone them off camera, and I wish I had filmed that. So now, using a very, very light layer of rattling grime, I'm using that to go over all of the silvered sections. This will give it a very nice, nasty, rusted appearance of old, worn metal that has rust throughout the whole thing. And going a light coating still gives that kind of silvery shimmer that lets it shine through. Now I'm going to use some Athonian Camo Shade to go over all of the armored sections. This will darken it just slightly and give it a more green appearance, while still kind of have that nasty yellow Nurgle appearance. Now, if you want this a little bit darker, if you happen to be doing the exact same color scheme, you can go over it a second time. Once it dries, it'll darken it even further, but still keep the yellow tinge. And then we're going to finish it off by doing a coating of X Earthshade over all of the stone and sandy bits on the base. Alright, and here we are with the finished pieces. I really like how these came out, and the color scheme really makes them appear that kind of diseased, plagued warriors of Chaos and Nurgle. And as you can see here, the modification I did to the kind of fleshy protrusions really looks a lot better in my opinion. So please everyone, hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in the comments section, and we will see everyone next episode.